Hi, ladies and gentlemen, this is Monkalesi here, and today I just want to do a quick overview. Trying to talk about, so when we're dealing with ancient spirituality, particularly when dealing with esoteric information and you're dealing with Christianity, right? There's always symbolism, or they talk in words, but okay, so when you understand Christianity, right? From my understanding is they understand time as a circle. So a lot of their stories are not only talking about the past, they're also talking about the future. And they're also talking about what's happening now. So when you realize that a lot of the stories are prophesized. They're not only telling you what has happened, they're also telling you what is there to come. Because they are not technically they're not basically stuck in time as we know it. So, when we think of time, we think of linear time, past, present, and future. But based in quantum physics, they understand that time is a circle based on time crystals. And if you look at the ancients, they always speak in cycles because they know that time circles. So based on that, when you know that time circles, you know that everyone will have similar experiences. They will reset again. So basically time just kind of like loops over itself. And when that happens, reincarnation, the same spirits will come back in, will have similar experiences. That's why if you look at archetypes, you realize that they're all basically similar stories doing the same thing over and over again, but their stories are just a little bit different. So when we understand that, we realize that we can decode and analyze patterns in ancient mysticism or even in stories. For example, the fall of Inanna, the fall of Sophia, the fall of the Shiknina, the fall of Eve, right? So that's all basically telling us that there was something happened to the divine feminine that fell. But if you also cross-reference that with this Kali Yugas, and if you cross-reference that with the ages of Greek, you realize that the fall has nothing to do with any sin. It really has to do with the time. Because everything's yin and yang, we have half of our time where we're conscious and half of our time where we're unconscious. And when a cycle ends, we become to get our conscious back, but unfortunately it's going to be divine feminine because she's the one that gives birth, right? As above, so below. So a lot of our symbolism are written for the divine feminine so she could wake up. There's no secret here. It's just we got to speak to the divine feminine for her to wake up, and unfortunately she speaks in symbolism. So I just want to go ahead and give you guys some basic understanding of Christianity so you can understand what they're talking about. So real quick, when you are dealing with Christianity, you always talk about the temple, right? The temple is basically the human body. The human body is where you're going to have your experiences at. We're fragmented, and we're fragmented because we're stuck across time. So our human body are just kind of like in a circle like that. So our body is fragmented. So our body is going out, but what we want to do is we want to push it back to 0 point energy, which is the center of our body. So a lot of Christianity is really focusing on how to get back to your original state. So when they talk in Christianity about the temple, they're usually talking about the human body. And that's where that's your original state where you want to come back in. Unfortunately, most people don't stay centered. So we want to come back to the human body, and we want to get back into our mind. And so the mind is usually associated with the halo, and they always talk about the mind is always the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. That's usually the conscious, the subconscious, and the pineal gland. So that you need to get back into your body, because this is what Christianity is about. Getting back to your better body, getting back to 0 point energy, getting back to your mind, because your mind is where you manifest. That's where you consciously manifest them. And you are actually a spirit. So the temple, when they're talking about the temple, is actually your physical body. Your mind, the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit is your mind, because you need to get back your mind. Because when they created Adam and Eve is basically the subconscious and the conscious. And going through the tree of life, which are basically just clearing out your consciousness, because you don't want to get pulled into the holographic universe. You want to stay here. So when you understand that, you would understand that possessions is basically when you leave your body and other entities come and try to take over your bodies. They don't have a spirit. They're usually thought forms trying to take over your body. Vibrations. You got to pay attention to vibrations, because to get into heaven is a vibrational state. Astral thought forms. If you don't pay attention to your temple and leave your temple, other astrals or demons can take over it. That's possessions. The 7 sins. The 7 sins in Christianity is basically telling you what you need to do to prevent yourself from getting stuck outside of your body. Christianity is all about coming back into your body, okay? Because that's where we manifest. That's where our power is. Good deeds help you, like service and being kind to other people is really helping your frequency, because as you help your frequency higher, and as your frequency gets higher, you'll manifest heaven on earth, okay? the devil needs to ask to come into your temple. So basically, this is your holographic universe. This is your universe. No one's allowed to take over your universe or manifest for you unless you give him power. You give him power through ego. Usually this happens when people tell you, oh, you're a light worker, you're an alien, you're a starseed, you're chosen, you're this and that. It's okay to feel like you're chosen, but when someone uses that as a trap to pull you into their delusions, that you could leave your body, go to them, and then you can actually get stuck into their little holographic universe that's inside the holographic universe. Just a quick little overview so people can understand Christianity a little bit more, and I will continue. Tell me what videos you guys like, because based on which videos have likes on it is where I will do my next video on. Thanks for watching. Peace.